My name is Helen, and at 29, I thought I was finally stepping into a new chapter of life. Marriage to Bobby, my 31-year-old husband, was supposed to be the start of something beautiful. He worked as an office employee, reliable and steady, and together we had poured our dreams into a $500,000 home, a place we had envisioned from the moment of our engagement. We'd sat side by side, picking every wall color, tile pattern, and piece of furniture. We had imagined mornings filled with sunlight and laughter, evenings where we'd collapse into our own little sanctuary, newlyweds enjoying the life we'd built with our own hands. But my carefully built vision began to crack before we even had a chance to settle in. On moving day, the house that had once felt expansive suddenly seemed cluttered. Bobby's belongings filled every corner, boxes stacked high, clothes spilling from suitcases, his sports gear jammed into closets I thought we'd left empty for our future. I tried to keep my tone light as I asked, "Bobby, is there enough room for all this stuff? It seems like quite a lot." He didn't even pause while unpacking. "Oh, did I not mention? Doris is moving in with us." I froze. What? Why would Doris move in now? We just got married. My voice was sharper than I intended, but the shock rattled me. This was supposed to be our home, not a shared space. Bobby, without looking up, said casually, "It's no big deal. Doris is family too. She wants to stay in the new house. It shouldn't be a problem for all of us to live together." "No big deal," I echoed, disbelief tightening my throat. "Bobby, you didn't even talk to me about this." He turned then, eyes hardening. "If you don't like it, you can leave. I've already decided Doris is staying, so stop complaining." That cut deeper than I expected. The man I had married less than a week ago was already drawing lines in the sand, siding with his sister over me. Feeling cornered, I snapped back. "Fine, maybe I'll call my brother over, see what he thinks." That got his attention. He straightened, tension flickering across his face. "Wait, don't call him. Look, Doris won't be here forever. She just needs a place to stay until she finds a job in her own place. Can you understand that?" I swallowed my frustration and, against my better judgment, nodded. "Okay, but at least let her stay in the guest room." Yeah," he muttered, but his hesitation was obvious. By nightfall, after hours of dragging boxes and furniture around, we finally sat down to toast our new life together. Just as my body began to relax, the doorbell rang. It was late, and I wasn't expecting anyone. Bobby leapt up eagerly. "That must be Doris." When he opened the door, Doris swept inside like she owned the place, her voice bright and demanding. "Can't I come home whenever I want? Now show me my spacious room, big bro." I forced a smile. "Welcome, Doris. What brings you here so late?" She didn't bother answering. Following Bobby upstairs, she peeked into the guest room we had just prepared for her and wrinkled her nose. "This isn't the right room. You said it was larger." Before I could intervene, she stormed down the hall and flung open another door, my workroom, the space I had carefully set aside to freelance from home. My pulse spiked. "This is my workroom," I snapped. "It can't be your room." Bobby tried to soothe her, but his words stung me instead. "Why not make this Doris's room?" "No way," I shot back, my voice trembling. "That's not fair." Searching for compromise, I gestured to the room next door, Bobby's office. "What about this one? It's big enough for her." He bristled instantly. "Not that room. I've been looking forward to using it. I even picked out the wallpaper myself." The only other option was the future children's room, which we were temporarily using as a guest room. Doris folded her arms, glaring at me. "You're quite insolent, aren't you? Not listening to the head of the household. Pretty cheeky for someone who relies on him for meals." The hypocrisy was almost funny. Who was the real freeloader here? My throat burned as I held back a retort and retreated to the living room. From the distance, I heard them murmuring. Then Bobby's voice rose. "You're always opposing me, acting all high and mighty." He grabbed a wine bottle from the counter, gulped, then roared, "If you can't listen to me, get out. I'm the head of this household. Don't underestimate me." With that, he stormed off with Doris. I sat in silence, staring at the flickering candle we'd lit for our celebration. This wasn't the marriage I'd envisioned. I needed someone to anchor me, and my brother was the only person I could think to call. He picked up immediately, his voice weary. "What's up? Did the move go smoothly? Sorry I couldn't be there." As I explained everything, Doris moving in, the guest room drama, Bobby's outburst, my brother's tone sharpened. "Helen, they're treating you like a servant. That's not okay." I tried to laugh it off. I'm your sister, right? Me, a servant? Let them try. Call me if anything happens, he said firmly. We shifted to his own troubles, his wife's betrayal, her affair discovered by mistake, the heartbreaking evidence he'd found on her phone. He was planning to confront her parents the next day. We hung up after promising to keep in touch. Later that night, Bobby and Doris returned, drunk but cheerful. We've got a great idea, Bobby slurred. Let's move our bedroom to Doris's and each sleep in our workrooms. You'll clear the room for Doris by tomorrow, right? My heart sank. Before I agree to anything, I said evenly, how much will Doris contribute toward groceries and household supplies, and how long does she plan to stay? Bobby's smile faded. You want money from Doris, who doesn't have a job. Don't worry, I'll cover it. Doris smirked. I'll stay until I'm satisfied. I can't stand my mom's old-fashioned cooking. Here, I can do what I want without spending a dime. If you don't like it, Helen, you can move out. I exhaled slowly. Then we're dividing expenses. I'll cover my share with my income. You can support Doris with yours, and you'll both handle your own chores. I wrote everything down on paper as a pledge, knowing words alone wouldn't stick. But the next day, while I was out helping my brother with his children and meeting a lawyer about his divorce case, Doris crossed yet another line. When I returned, the house was trashed, grease on the counters, dishes piled high. Before I could even remove my shoes, Doris appeared, scolding. Where did you go without making breakfast? Bobby went to work hungry. Isn't it unacceptable to abandon household chores as a wife? Something inside me snapped. I'm not your maid, I said coldly. Clean up after yourself. She pouted. But you're the wife. I ignored her and headed to my room, only to find it stripped of my belongings. Doris's clothes, perfume bottles, and makeup had invaded my space. Panic shot through me. Did you go into my room? I demanded. Doris only smiled smugly. I've always loved your room. It fits my neat and cute image perfectly. I moved your stuff into the guest room. I ran to the guest room and found my computer and personal items shoved into a corner, carelessly piled. The disrespect was suffocating. Anger surged hot in my veins. Enough was enough. I was done being passive. When Bobby came home early, no doubt summoned by Doris, I was ready. I would show him everything, the trashed kitchen, the stolen room, the written pledge they'd ignored. I would ask him, face to face, do you really want to live like this, with me and Doris constantly at odds? But the moment he entered, his face was already hard, and Doris stood at his side, smiling like she'd won. You went against Doris, he said accusingly. Aren't you my wife? Isn't it your job to look after me and your sister-in-law? And in that instant, whatever warmth I'd clung to for Bobby began to die. The last shred of affection I held for Bobby evaporated in that moment. He stood there silently, not once defending me, not even questioning Doris's invasive behavior. He didn't ask her to move her things back, nor did he acknowledge how she was disregarding my personal space. His silence cut deeper than any words could. Summoning my courage, I challenged him. If this is how it's going to be, then I'm inviting my brother over. He's never even seen our house. Maybe it's time he does. Normally, the mere mention of my brother unsettled Bobby, but this time, emboldened by Doris's presence at his side, his demeanor shifted into arrogance. His eyes narrowed as he threatened. Are you sure about that? If you let that thug into our house, I'll kick you out. I stared back at him, unflinching. So kick me out. Try if you can. I'll call my mother, my brother, and his wife to see this place for themselves. His jaw tightened, the mask of confidence starting to slip, but he doubled down. Don't you dare call your family. If you don't like it, then leave. Before I could reply, Doris smirked, her tone dripping with mockery. This is my castle with Bobby. You know you have no right to call anyone here. Even if your family comes, we'll just kick them out. Her words only steeled my resolve. I picked up my phone and said coolly, then I'll call my brother right now. Turning toward both of them, I added, perhaps we should live apart. You two can have your fun, invite your friends, throw parties, whatever you want. It sounds like you'd prefer that anyway. Instead of being offended, they exchanged a glance and actually seemed pleased. Bobby shrugged. Maybe we should just get divorced already. That was the final straw. Fed up with their disrespect and unyielding arrogance, I dialed my brother's number. As the phone rang, I felt a surge of clarity. Whatever happened next, I was no longer going to be treated as an outsider in my own home. When my brother answered, his voice was steady and decisive. We've been waiting for this. We're on our way. His readiness moved me. He had been anticipating this call, waiting for me to finally draw the line. Within half an hour, my family arrived. Doris, who had been so smug earlier about kicking them out, turned pale the instant she saw my towering brother step inside. I smirked at her. "Oh, Doris, weren't you going to kick my family out when they arrived?" She faltered, her bravado evaporating, unable to respond. Even Bobby, usually so puffed up, shrank back, clearly intimidated. My elder brother, over 6 feet tall with a judo-hardened build and buzz cut, exuded authority. My younger brother, equally imposing, flanked him like a mirror image. They had both stood proudly at my wedding, unforgettable figures, now standing in my corner again. "Huh, we're the ones getting kicked out?" My elder brother chuckled coldly. "By who? Isn't it you two who are leaving?" Doris tried to muster courage. "My brother is divorcing his useless wife, so please leave already." But my younger brother fired back instantly. "Excuse me, this is Helen's house, built with her inheritance in her name. You're nothing more than squatters here." While my brothers stared Bobby down, my mother had already gone into the kitchen, sighing at the mess. "Oh dear, what a disaster. Don't drag this out. Boys, get to the point." Following her cue, my brothers ordered Bobby and Doris to sit. "We have 2 matters to resolve today. First, pack your things. You're leaving." Bobby tried to salvage his pride. "But I'm married to Helen. I can't just leave. I'm the head of the household." My elder brother cut him off sharply. "Being head of a household and owning the house are 2 very different things. You own nothing here." Doris, ever defiant, snapped, "I won't leave. I know about residency rights. You can't throw me out. If you don't like us here, then Helen should leave." "You clearly don't understand the law," my brother replied icily. "Residency rights apply when you pay rent or contribute. You've paid nothing. Doris, you're trespassing." At that moment, the doorbell rang. I opened it and froze. Standing there was my sister-in-law, my older brother's wife, with their child in tow, her face streaked with tears. My brother's expression darkened immediately. "This is the second matter," he announced grimly. He laid a folder of evidence on the table, photos, messages, videos. "Bobby, seems like you and my wife have been having an affair, and from the looks of it, she's pregnant with your child." The room fell into stunned silence. Bobby's face went ashen. He stammered incoherently, trying to deny it, but the evidence was damning. Doris, realizing the scandal's weight, blurted, "I'll go back to my parents' house," and darted toward the stairs. My younger brother blocked her path. "We already brought boxes. Start packing." Meanwhile, my elder brother shoved divorce papers across the table toward his wife. "Sign them. Custody is mine. That's what the kids want." Tears streaming, she obeyed, whispering apologies. He dismissed her coldly. "Take care of the child in your belly. Don't expect a penny of support. Don't show your face to my kids again." The shift back to me was swift and merciless. "So, Helen," my brother asked, "what about you?" I looked at Bobby, trembling and desperate on his knees. "I choose divorce too. I want him out of my house now." He wailed, "Please, don't do this. I'll change. Forgive me." Then, scrambling for a lifeline, he muttered, "Besides, it might not even be my child." But my brother's calm reply shattered that excuse. "It can't be mine. I had surgery years ago." Bobby's mouth hung open, words failing him. I slid the divorce papers across the table. "Sign." Defeated, Bobby signed. Then I handed him and Doris a legal pledge prepared by my lawyer, demanding $50,000 in damages for the harm they caused in my home, and forbidding them from ever entering again. Under my brother's stern gaze, Bobby signed once more. With that, we boxed up their belongings, loaded them onto a truck, and sent them straight back to their parents' house. My marriage ended that night, but for the first time in months, I felt free. Later, my brother suggested pooling money to buy my house so our family could live together. "When you remarry, build a new home," they teased. I smiled softly. "I think I'll stick to an apartment next time." In the months that followed, we filled the house with new life, my nieces and nephews, my mother, and even a dog the kids had always wanted. What had once been a place of betrayal became a home of laughter and second chances. Meanwhile, Bobby married my disgraced sister-in-law out of obligation. They moved in with his parents, and Doris, still toxic, soon turned on her new sister-in-law, pushing her toward a mental breakdown. Eventually, even Doris's own mother kicked her out. Abandoned, unwanted, and bitter, Doris ended up alone. And me? I walked into a new chapter, surrounded by family who truly loved me, determined never to allow myself to be silenced in my own life again.